Alright, as usual, I got way too hot out in the garage and I came inside because I'm a total fucking wimp. I didn't even bring my lighting in because I was too damn lazy. Okay? Alright, anyways, Jeepers Creepers 2, let's finish this up. As I said, I've already done Jeepers Creepers 3 a long time ago, the night it was released in the theater. How the fuck that movie made it to a theater even for a night is beyond me. So this starts showing us this is day 22 of 23. Then it goes to the next day, so it is the final day of the Creepers feeding session, whatever, season. There we go. So the crows are attracted to him because he's like a reverse scarecrow. It's like a scarecrow who actually attracts crows. So he's like a crow attractor or a non-scarecrow, or I don't know. And so he takes this kid in the opening, which pisses off the wrong guy. So he goes off and he's going to chase him down. Now, I haven't really talked much about the controversy behind these films, and I'm not going to really. I don't, that's a whole topic. That's a can of worms. Everyone has their opposing sides and viewpoints on that and whatever. Clearly, I'm watching and reviewing these, so I'm supporting them to an extent, but I'm not going to get into too much of that. But I do have to laugh at the fact that this movie is about a bunch of teenage boys, and there's loads of scenes where they're just like out suntanning with their shirts off. Like the opening scene of them is just a bunch of them with their shirts off and singing, and then they're on top of their car and they're shirtless, and then we get like a bunch of scenes where they're just out in a field pissing with their shirts off and their dicks out. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Anyways. We do get a little. Now, I said in my Jeepers Creepers 3 review back in the day, I barely remember it, to be honest. It was a long time ago now. But I said something about like his weapons having minds of their own or whatever, and never remembering anything in this series where that happens. Well, it kind of does. Ray Wise's character here, he finds his knife, and when he takes back the house and he's looking down at the chair, the thing flies out of his hand and just sticks right into the wall. It doesn't like return to its master or anything. Well, he returns it to its master, but it doesn't like fly out the window and go back to it like Thor's hammer or something. It just kind of flies across the way and it sticks in there. So there is a little bit of that in this, but that's pretty much it. Outside of that, nothing else. Oh god, I don't want to get into the third one. I talked about it enough. Fuck that movie. Fuck. The bus driver chick is the cop, the officer that Maurice Minifield falls in love with in Northern Exposure. I know a lot of people probably don't even know what the hell that show is, and the few people who do probably don't give a shit, but I was a big Northern Exposure fan back in the day. Joel Fleischman and all that, like, I watched all 6 seasons. I was a big fan, so I had to point it out that she was in this, because when I saw her, I was like, Northern Exposure. I love when people remind me of that show, because I really loved it back in the day. Any other Northern Exposure fans? Probably not. Okay. Justin Long makes an appearance in this movie a couple times as a dream sequence Derry, who's warning this girl, which all the warnings in these movies are totally for shit. Like, they don't even need to be here because they can't do any goddamn thing about it. It's fate, baby. But I don't know. The chick in the first movie who is a psychic, and she's known to be the psychic in town. It's not like she became a psychic overnight. Like, when she comes in, the police are well aware of who this chick is, and they're like, stop bothering people, stop with your bullshit, like, no one believes in this garbage that you're pushing. But in the second one, the girl on the bus, as soon as the creeper gets in the vicinity of them, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, becomes a psychic. And really the only reason for that to happen in this movie is because how else are they going to be explained what this thing is, what it wants, and all that? It doesn't need to be explained. It just doesn't. But she just becomes a psychic? Like, that thing makes one random person a psychic? There was a psychic in the last movie, but she was already a psychic. But now he's just making psychics wherever he goes? Or, like, what? Like, psychically linked with her through the afterlife? Like, I don't know. Like, You thought that they were going to be answered in the third movie because they said they were going to answer, like, all the questions. They didn't answer a fucking thing. We get to see that he pops 2 different tires with these different like ninja stars that he makes out of human bones and teeth and everything. One of them is actually made out of Derry's belly button. So we find out that Derry not only got to get his eyes used so the creeper could take on his eyes, but also that he took his stomach and fashioned it into a throwing star. Oh shit, sorry guys. And that just reminded me because when I was at the horror show when I was at the Mad Monster Party with the horror show, one of the things they had on the table was the ninja star thing that the creeper had with the tooth in the center. And a bunch of people walked up and knew what that was. And when I saw it, I didn't remember what the hell it was. I was looking at it like, what's that from? And then somebody said Jeepers Creepers 2. And I was like, oh. And then a ton of people said it, and I felt dumb. I was like, man, I'm kind of usually the dude who knows horror trivia, and I feel like I'm not in the know right now, which was very odd for me. But now watching this movie, it's very like front and center for a good amount of time. So if you're a fan of this series, you're gonna recognize it if you've seen this a bunch of times. There's a lot of like race issues in this, where like the main guy, the football player, is like bitching because his coach benched him. They were going to win the playoffs. They were going to win the championship. They just won the state championship. That's where they were coming from. And he's mad because he thinks he was benched because he's white. And his teammates are, they get into these fights. And the guy's even like, you want to call me something else, right? You want to call me... Like, I know that it's supposed to add tension to the movie and separate the characters and make them at odds with each other and all that, because like the fear of everything is pushing them even further into all of their insecurities and all. It is so unnecessary. It really just doesn't go anywhere. Like, it is so just shoehorned in to throw in drama in the movie. I thought it was very dumb. This is an okay sequel. It's fine. Like, I watched it and I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. There's certain things in it that I definitely liked a good amount. And then there's a lot of things that were just kind of like slow or like, Jesus Christ, can I stop yawning? I'm not even fucking tired. It's stupid. But anyways, let's see here. They finally get a hold of Ray Wise' character, and they're on the phone with him, or the CB with him, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll call the cops. Don't, sit tight." And he doesn't. And the son like tries to fight him on it for a long while before he has to say it like 6 times, like, "Let's go, we're going to kill this guy." Then the creeper's on the top of the thing. I really like when the creeper comes around and he's like at the back of the truck and he's like looking at all of them, and he looks at one of them and smiles. He's got that like, really creepy smile. And then they're like, "Me?" And he's like basically like, no. He's like, because he doesn't talk. They had to figure out a different way where the creeper could point out who he was after. So you just look at him and he would just kind of point, and he'd do this, all this and that. And then finally, like, once someone came in, he'd like point at him. I thought that was like the creepiest scene in the entire movie, and I really, really liked that a lot. But then he gets on top of the bus, and this girl takes a pipe and she shoves it up through the bus into his face, and it shows. And I get it because they have to show that it's an eyeball, and this is the best way to do that. But the eyeball is somehow backwards. She pushes it up this way through his face, out the back of his head, and then it's like sitting on the thing backwards, like looking like the eyeball, the iris and everything, the pupil are on the back side of it. So how did it get turned around this way? Like, as I said, I get it. It's just to show us it's an eyeball. If they would have shown the back, it wouldn't have made sense. And we also got to remember, those are more than likely Derry's eyes. That's one of his eyes that just got torn out of his face there. So when you're looking at that eyeball that's on the end of that pipe, it's probably Derry's. I don't even know what to say about this yawning. I can't stop it. Like, I've tried like 3 times now where I'm like, no, don't do it. You just can't stop it, man. You just can't stop it. I'm so bored with myself. See, I'm that boring. I bore myself. Anyway, then we get a guy who gets his entire body wrapped up in this freaking thing's wing, the creeper's wing, and then it like pulls the thing up and decapitates the guy. And the creeper's missing like half of his face with some really bad CGI. And then he takes and he tears his own head off and throws it away after he eats the guy's head. Then the head pops back up and looks like the guy for like 2 seconds before morphing back in to the face of the creeper. That was interesting. That was really cool. That was a totally new, unique spin on what the creeper was able to do. That he could replace his entire fucking head and that it would look like someone else. He actually kind of looks a little bit like Wishmaster now, too. Now that I'm really kind of thinking about the Djinn or whatever. I'm going to have to look at them side by side to see if I'm right. But I remember the Djinn. I should do those Wishmaster series. I should grab that Blu-ray, even though I own them all on DVD, and that should be good enough because I love the first one. I really like the second one, and the third and fourth are completely unwatchable. So there's a reason I haven't done them, because I don't want to watch that shit again. And let's see. So if you blew its head off, right, and it couldn't eat, would that be the end of it? Like, because it can seem to replace even its head, but it has to be able to eat the head first to replace its head. So good thing it had a mouth to eat it. So, fuck, man. So annoyed. I don't want to yawn. So what? It eats, like, if you blew its head off, it couldn't eat anymore, right? So that would kill it. So you just got to blow the fucking thing's head off. Which we're going to talk about at the end here. Let's see. Wants to throw people off. Oh, then the guy, like the guy who's like claiming things are racist against him. We got reverse racism going on here. I'm white, and that's why I didn't get to play. He decides that he wants to throw everyone off the bus that was liked by the creeper. Then the girl, and this is really just all based off of what this girl who says now she's psychic. No one knew her to be psychic before this. She just all of a sudden is psychic out of nowhere, and people are actually going off of this. In fact, the entire end of this movie is going off of what she says. So we're going to save that here for the end, but it's so stupid. Then Ray Wise gets there and he has the post puncher, which he's turned into a harpoon gun. He shoots it through the creeper 2 different times, 2 different things. He uses his own weapon against him, sticks it through him. The second one, the creeper is so strong with his flight that he's able to turn a bus over and flip like a 2-ton truck. Man, those are some strong wings he's got there. And then they, 3 of the characters, they get into a truck and they're driving away, and one of them is in the back of the truck, and the creeper comes through, he hits the brakes, the guy goes through the creeper goes through the windshield, and it flips the truck completely at like 50, like he's slowing down, but like he flips the truck, so the truck must be going, I don't know how many miles per hour for it to be whipping that fast. It like whips fast and smashes down. And the guy who is in the back of the truck is thrown and is pretty much completely fine. He looks like he might have a broken leg, but it's like an A-team thing here. This is bullshit, man. I'm legitimately not even tired. Like, I'll be up. It's only 8 o'clock right now. I'll be up for another 6 hours. Easy. I don't know why my body does that. Anyway. But yeah, like, you ever watch the A-Team and they like crash a fucking, like the bad guys will crash a fucking helicopter like into a ravine that's like 1,000 feet deep, and then it'll just show the wreckage, and they'll just like get out and none of them will even have a scratch on them. It's hilarious, and it happened in so many episodes. That's how this feels. At least the guy looks like he has a broken leg, so something on him is injured. But jeez, come on, man. I've been in a car that's flipped over, a bunch of times, but I was not in the back seat of or I wasn't in the back bed of a truck, because I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be fucking dead. Anyway, I like that we get to see that the creeper is like breathing through his nostrils, but he also has like a third nostril here to suck in the scent of what he wants. And then he gets shot again in the head, which sticks him into the ground. And then Ray Wise comes up and he stabs the fucking thing like 50 times in the chest. Then takes the, pipe out, and the thing's like cocoons itself, like the thing in the back of its head, which seems to be, I don't know, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that thing on the back of his head is like the creature itself. Because he could live without a head, he can live without, but this thing seems to be constant. This thing seems to be what's like cocooning him, what takes the head in, whatever. Like, I feel like that latched onto a human, turned it into this creeper thing, and then it just replaces the body parts to keep it going, because it's just this like, it's just this entity that needs a host to live on. Like, the creeper is just a byproduct of this thing, and it like takes over his body, and I don't know. That's my guess on what the creeper is that thing on the back of its head is the actual entity in its true state. That's just a guess, though. But it like cocoons him up, and then Ray Wise takes another thing and smashes it through its face, and he's like, looks dead to me. And then we have the dumbest fucking ending to me ever. Okay, burn the fucking body right there. You have it on the ground, it's there. You want to stab it 50 times, so this. Obliterate it, fucking pour gasoline all over it, burn it till there's nothing left. Then take the ashes of the shit and get a fucking, dig a really deep hole, pour concrete layer, pour the ashes on there, pour fucking concrete over that, and then bury the thing, okay? Gone, dead, gone. If you see a creature like this, make sure it is gone. No, what does he do? What does he do after what he did to his son and all this? No, he takes it and he puts it up on his wall in a barn, and he charges people $5 a head to come look at his freak show monster, which everyone would be like, that thing's fucking fake. Then he sits there with a harpoon gun pointed at the thing and is waiting for it to come back to life, all based on a just recently psycho, exactly. An old Freudian slip there. Psychic girl's word. Like, out of just like, okay, so every 23rd spring for 23 days, this girl says that, and the guy's like, total fact. Hang him on my wall, and then in 23 years, was he sitting there every single day for 23 years? All day, every day? Just waiting for it to come back to life? Why not just burn the fucking body? What's the point of sitting there, like, you want to kill it again? You want to just continue to keep killing it every 23 years? You're so old, you're going to be dead by the next one, so you just wanted one more go at this thing? Were you like Sarah Connor, when they talk about her in the third movie, she stayed alive long enough from cancer to make sure Judgment Day did not happen, that you actually stopped it? Like, it's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. I can't stand how stupid this ending is. It's just yet another like, and there's gonna be a sequel, like, and you thought that this third one would take place after this, but it actually takes place in between 1 and 2. Which was like one of the only cool things that happened in that movie. Which was like, oh, it's a sequel and a prequel? It's kind of cool. Like, you see the she gets on the bus or whatever. So I dig that. Like, I thought that was cool. That's like the only thing I thought was cool. But this whole like going on, that is, oh my god, the ending of this is so stupid. Let's keep the fucking body. Let's point a fucking harpoon gun at it for 23 years. Come on, man. This is dumb. Anyway, guys, all right, there you go. Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, 3, all done. Another series knocked out. Yeah, I think I'm going to go rent Rampage with Dwayne Johnson right now because I love that kind of shit. So, anyway, guys. All right, happy birthday, Johnny. I hope that you liked these reviews for Creepers 1 and 2. Thank you for everything, and I hope you had a great day, buddy. All right.